So welcome to my weekly video blog. As you can see, I am wearing my new New York City, where are we? It's down there somewhere. New York City hoodie, which was my gift to myself, one of several, on my trip. The American Tour, American Dreams Tour 3 is in the bag. I want to send a very special thank you to Donna, who I met, Donna and Rob, on Sunday, was it? Yes, I think it was Sunday, halfway through my trip, and they had arranged for me a trip to see the Statue of Liberty. It was the highlight of my tour. I'm not just saying that, you know, to be nice or anything. I absolutely mean it. So a special thank you to them who made this tour extra special for me. It was fantastic. I am quite exhausted afterwards, which is an issue because of course I go back to work next week. So I have a feeling that this next week's going to be quite hard. I'm going to be quite tired. But I am not going to let that deter me. We have picked up some good vibes in New York, and we plan on carrying on with good vibes. So there we are. I did learn a few things on this tour. This tour was an experience. You know, I've been to the US several times, and they do say that you can't say you've really been to the US until you've been to New York. You know, the Big Apple, the Empire State and all that sort of stuff. So part of me was going to New York because it's the dumb thing to go to New York. The other thing about New York is that there is a lot to do in it. There's a huge long list of places to visit and things to do and money to spend. And I only had a week, so I did feel that there was some pressure in managing to get everything done, because I didn't want to feel like I had missed out when I knew I probably wouldn't be going back. And I've discovered something about myself and the way I like holidays. I do like holidays with things to do, that's for certain, and I've known that for a long time. I'm not the sort of person who'll go to a beach, stay at an all-inclusive and be happy. I'd hate that because I would get bored. So I have to go to places that have things to do. However, and one of the reasons why I think I've enjoyed visits to other cities more is because I don't know necessarily what's in them except for one or two things. And so I have sort of at my leisure wandered round and managed to cover most of the things I wanted because most of the places are smaller and have less in them. And what I like is that because it gives me the opportunity to explore and doesn't put on me the sort of constraints of having to get round a set number of objects in a short amount of time. You know, there was a certain pressure in New York as well because it's very fast-paced and it's potentially dangerous. It's particularly dangerous for people who are on their own. If you go as a group, or if you go as a couple, you don't have so much trouble as if you go on your own. And the trouble comes from all the people who are out to make money at your expense, basically. Beggars and con artists that will wait at bus stops, for example, for people to come off. And it's easier for them to approach somebody who is on their own. So you have to always walk through the city like you have a purpose, like you have a place to go, like you are going from A to B, you're busy. And in many ways, if somebody accosts you, you do not stop and you do not talk to them, because 9 times out of 10, they will be out to try and make money from you and take you for a ride. And they tend to only really accost the person who's on their own. I learnt that more so in New Jersey, North New Jersey, than New York. I have to say, because there were so many people around in New York, the likelihood of things turning dangerous were, you know, there were so many people for the con artists to move on to. If somebody didn't immediately respond to them, they just move on to the next person. But in New Jersey, they could follow you down the street for some time, sort of shouting after you. I've seen it happen, and had it happen to me once as well. So, you know, I'm not making it up here. So it was a learning curve. It was a learning curve that, do you know, I'm right in wanting to go to the places that I want to visit, not necessarily the places that one should visit, because if they don't visit there, do you know what I mean? So in many ways, no, New York wasn't for me. I don't particularly like the city very much. It's full, for a start, of high-rises that are observation towers, where the joy is you go up and you look at the same view from a slightly different angle, and can this time manage to take a photograph of the last observation tower actually in the photo. And of course, for somebody who doesn't particularly like heights, that's fantastic, isn't it, when you're paying like $30 to $40 every time you want to do that. Which is why I gave the Rockefeller a miss. I didn't go up it. I mean, I took pictures, but I didn't go up it. So I learnt quite a lot from that. I also learnt that, you know, it's worth doing extra research on where you're going to stay before you book it. And maybe it's worth paying a little bit extra to be closer. You know, you don't want to be... New Jersey was too far away to commute, really. I did, and it was about an hour's journey a day. That was time that I could have been using in other sort of areas, basically. I really discovered that the hotel was not what I thought it was going to be. And part of that is my fault for not being detailed enough and not checking enough in advance. And also doing my research with the airports and stuff like that. I should have done that more. It was less important with my last tours, where either somebody was doing it for me, or I was moving from A to B so often that I wasn't staying in any place too long. But these are all learning curves. They're all learning curves. I survived. I really did enjoy it. It just wasn't exactly what I thought it was going to be, and as much of a learning curve and an exhausting experience as it was a brilliant one. So my favourite point of the whole thing had to be the Statue of Liberty, and part of me thinks, well, that's because A, it was all organised for me, and B, I was, you know, sort of taken away. But for me, the importance was seeing a friend that I had known for a long time online, that I never thought I'd get to meet, and getting to meet them and getting to talk to them and going somewhere with them and, you know, sharing memories. And that's very, very important to me. And that happened quite a lot in the last two tours, and not so much in this tour. Donna was the only person that I saw and the only person that I phoned. Now, last time I spent 15 hours on the phone to different people who were phoning me all the time. I met up with at least 5 or 6 people, and it makes all the difference. The other thing that makes a difference is being able to have a phone that contacts home. Not because they need to know where I am or anything like that, but partly because one of the things I really enjoy is spreading my news, basically. And I was out of internet contact, so I couldn't tell people what I was doing online, and I was out of phone contact, so I couldn't even text home and say... Jens is going to annoy me, I can tell. I couldn't even text and say, you know, been to XYZ and I enjoyed it today. And, you know, I discovered that I need that. So I won't be going abroad again until at least I can have a phone that works, even if not the internet. Probably not the internet, because the danger with the internet is that I get online and I just can't detach myself, which would be a tragedy, having travelled to a different country to explore that, to spend most of my time online. but a mobile phone, would have been helpful, basically. I'm going to quickly finish, if I may, with the birthdays for this week. Where are we? And I've done some of these birthdays already. Here we are. We have the following people having birthdays. Tony Zucker, Suzanne Johnson, John Humphreys, Steve Taylor and Hazel Smith. So happy birthday to all of those. I hope you have eaten a lot of cake, or will eat a lot of cake. I am going back to work, so this is the end of my fall holidays, so my celebrations are over. But don't let that deter you, of course. And for everybody else, I shall see you all next week, when life returns to usual. Or does it?